If it won't be confirmed to be fake, I will make videos these following weeks talking about things revealed in these files and make a timeline video of the story told in it. Well, I guess that's what happened. Hello FNAFers, the spring has come and so did FNAF. And today Scott has officially confirmed on Reddit that the Talbert files were indeed fake, and he has never even seen them in his life. If you don't know what are the Talbert files and the situation around them, I recommend you to go and watch my last video where I talk about it in more detail. But basically, a popular, credible FNAF leaker Anthem posted Talbert files, which apparently was a scrapped version of Freddy files that solved the lore, but he claimed it was fake and just a group project / fanfic. But then his friends started to post screenshots of emails and DMs where Anthem and Scott said that the files were real. And the FNAF Twitter community started to attack, harass, and dox Anthem for lying that it was fake. And in the end, he decided to say that it was real and deactivated his account. But today, Scott has noticed this situation and the havoc it has caused in the FNAF community, and so decided to comment about it on Reddit. The post he commented under is now deleted by the moderators, but it was called Scott Confirmation of What's Canon, and talked about the Scott emails about the files, and hear what he replied with. Guys, you gotta stop believing this stuff. I didn't write this. And then added, everyone, listen to me very carefully. I love this community, you know that I do, but I don't have the time or energy to comment on every drama post that pops up on the Reddit. I have no idea what the Talbert files is. I haven't read it, nor do I plan on reading it. More importantly, if I ever wanted to give clarification on anything like I'm doing now, I would do it through a Reddit post and not through a personal email. I have something fun planned for the 10-year anniversary of FNAF, and I hope to post about that soon. So here Scott said that the emails were fake and that he has never heard of Talbert files. But some people still believed the files were real due to the whole situation I talked about last time. And so they said that, oh well, the emails are fake, but the files are real, and Scott just doesn't know they are called Talbert files because that is a fan-made name. But the name Talbert was on the cover of this supposed book, and it became the Freddy files, so if they were real, he would have put 2 and 2 together and understand what the Talbert files are. And also, after these replies from Scott, the ones who claimed it was real originally refused to take back their statements and called Scott a liar, but didn't show any evidence because they don't want to post it without Anthem's permission, who has left Twitter and won't talk about Talbert files ever again. But not long after, Scott has looked more into the Talbert files and made a post about it. Okay everyone, here my official statement concerning the Talbert files. As I said elsewhere, I don't know what the Talbert files is. I haven't looked at it yet. I never said it was fake though, despite the emails I'm getting. We are talking about 2017, and that's a long time ago. If it is an unpublished version of the Freddy files, like everyone says, then it was obviously rejected. Lots of stuff gets rejected. One thing that everyone needs to keep in mind is that a lot of companies that I work with come up with products from time to time that try to fill in the gaps of the lore. They essentially create new lore in trying to create a product. This happens a lot more than you may realize. Almost every time this happens, However, I step in and say, no, don't create lore, just focus on established lore. Even a detail as small as an EST 1983 on a t-shirt, it'll say no, don't include an established date because that confuses the lore. Companies don't realize this. They have good intentions. All of this is to say that yes, it's possible that the Talbot files is an old version of Freddy Files, but if it is, it was obviously rejected. Anytime you see an unpublished book or unpublished screenplay or even scrapped merchandise designs, try to keep in mind that a lot of ideas get scrapped because they are simply bad ideas. I have enough bad ideas on my own. I don't need help. The other problem is that I've seen emails supposedly by me that were not written by me. I do sometimes reply to emails, rarely. However, the one that I've seen posted on Reddit and the one sent to me privately by members of the Talbot group is a fake. It wasn't written by me. There are too many obvious giveaways. Please, don't harass anyone over this. I think there is a lot of confusion over this, obviously, but I don't think anyone has intended to cause problems. Okay, so now people believe that even though the emails are fake and the Talbot files are not written by Scott, they definitely have to be written by a company but got rejected or Scott never even read them. Well, after Scott has looked even more deeply into the files, he has added an edit to the post. Edit. Okay, I've been looking through some of the Talbot files pages. I couldn't find any downloadable versions, but I watched YouTube videos browsing through it. I can pretty confidently say that the Talbot files is fake, and not an unreleased Freddy Files. It looks completely unfamiliar to me, and not something Scholastic would have put together. It also mentions characters that weren't created until years later. Pretty sure it's fake, folks. Bam! Scott has confirmed that it is fake. He has never seen them in his life, and it's not something that Scholastic would make. And the thing that makes this even more fake is that Scott confirms that at the time these files are claimed to have been made, the characters mentioned were not even created yet, and some of those could be Cassidy or Stitch Wraith, Talbot, or even some of the scrap animatronics, who knows. He also mentioned that he watched a few YouTube videos about it, and considering that I was one of the only 4 YouTubers who have made a video on it, especially considering it is one of the smallest ones. But case Talbot Files is officially closed and debunked by Scott himself. Now everybody believes Scott. Yet people who lied about it being real still insist on their claims. And to be honest, that makes sense because they went too far and don't want to admit their mistakes, but if they will be attacked by the other Twitter users. They also say that by Scott lying he's betraying Anthem, but that is a lie too, cause Anthem was insisting on the files being fake from the start, and all it said they were real when he was forced by his so-called friends. So if someone really did betray Anthem, it was them all along and not Scott. So yeah, I will link all of Scott's statements about the situation in the description below. But anyways, tell me in the comments what you think of this situation, or you can join my Discord server in the description and talk about it there. But for now, that's it. Subscribe to my channel to not miss any of my videos, press the like button with a bell, and remember, I always come back.